Welcome back to Young and Impressionable. I am Janaea Moore, and I'm with Cam.
Yes, how you doing? How you doing?
And we also have Donald from Two Tall Gamers. Go ahead and
Boom.
introduce yourself.
Right here, baby. That's right. Just chilling in the cut. That's all. I'm just producing.
So today we're going to talk about daddy issues, which everybody has their different type of daddy issues. And, you know, we're just going to go into that. So...
For sure.
Yeah. I mean, here Cam and Donald say they don't really have daddy issues.
Well, you know, what I'm saying is I had a really good relationship with my father. So.
Right.
Me too. And I still do.
And you know what? And I always was kind of in denial of my quote-unquote daddy issues because I figured, well, my dad's in my life, so I don't have daddy issues because he's there. I know there's a lot of people out there that don't even have their dad in their life.
Right.
And that's a whole other type of daddy issue, you know, just a man not even being there.
Correct.
So we can't even really fully relate to that aspect of that. But then I came to a realization that I too have daddy issues because there's things in my life that I've dealt with him and my family that have made me realize and molded my ideas of men.
No, for sure. I think that's a definite thing. I mean, I know with my dad and my sister, I'm sure if she was here right now, she would tell you the reason why she's been in, you know, what she would call like healthy relationships, whether they ended bad or good, you know, was because of how my dad, you know, treated her. So, yeah, I could definitely say, you know, the reason I feel like I can provide for what a woman wants because my father showed me what, you know, what that looked like.
When you say your sister was in healthy relationships, what does that look like?
I mean, I wasn't there, but I just mean like of course she's had her times where she, you know, cried over people or, you know, different things like that. But it's like she's never been a girl that was like scared to move on, you know. She felt like if it wasn't for her, that's just wasn't what she was gonna have. You know, it's just what it is.
It wasn't like a big blow up. It wasn't like you know, or cheating or disrespect, or it was just like, oh, we just don't really mesh. Like we're just not for each other.
Well, no, not. I mean, they might have had problems and stuff. That's what I'm saying. But it was healthy for her, as in she was able to reflect back on it and see signs or see things, and she was able to grow from it. A lot of women, I think, instead of growing past relationships, they actually deteriorate a little bit. Like they actually take steps back and, you know, do worse because of somebody else who's, you know, and that's just never been her. And so I attribute that to my dad. Same probably with me too.
Well, that's really interesting because I feel like I've always grown from my relationships and realized things that I don't want, and my expectations have, you know, I add to my list of expectations.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, there was a girl in here earlier from previous podcasts.
Right.
What did she say exactly? She said there's what you won't accept. You
Yeah,
know, there's
you just have
all things you won't accept.
A small, but she also said a small list.
Yeah, you start off with like a small list of things that you just know for sure. That's just what it is. And then after that, you kind of go from there and build on it. But you don't start with a long list of things that you don't want in a person. You start with a short one of just like minimal,
Of
you
the
know,
necessities,
basics.
like,
yeah.
this is a guaranteed no.
No. Yeah.
So what's a guaranteed no for you?
Oh, man.
I put him on the spot. I
there's a
put him
lot.
on the spot. He wasn't expecting this
I'm
question.
glad you got
'cause,
that
know,
question first.
Because the thing is that I never had the approach like she did. I would have to say like just a negative attitude. Like there's just some people who find the negative in everything. Like,
Right.
like you're mad at the waiter, you're mad because it's raining outside, you're upset. Like, and so all of our conversations are based on what you're upset about right now. And it's like, we're trying to be on a date and you're just upset. Like everything seems negative. So that's always been my thing. I can't deal with just people like that.
No.
You know, I want to throw that question out also to the audience. What's y'all's automatic no?
Automatic.
Just-
like,
Can't have it, won't do it. Just
I would like to know. I would like to hear what people have to say about this.
You know, one of my, man, see if I say this. Oh my gosh.
Oh, you already started.
Yeah, I know. So I think one of my big, like, automatic no's is a girl who doesn't dress conservatively. Like,
Really?
yeah, I'm not the kind of guy who likes the girls when they Their ass is hanging out.
But you like
boobs
big
on the-
titties.
I
and
do,
so
but you can have them and still keep them covered up.
That's
Facts.
true, but a lot of women say, "Oh, well, my boobs are so big, they just hang, they just happen like this."
Doesn't matter
But
what they say.
make clothes that cover them, and they still are big and nice.
And he's talking about the ones that don't say that. The ones that say that, or that's an excuse.
Exactly.
And I get what he's saying, because I categorize women like I'm really big on, like, you know, because, you know, I'm in the nightlife.
Right.
You know, so that's the insecurity that I get all the time from girls that are trying to be with me, is that, like, well, you're around, da, 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 da. And I'm like, yeah,
Like,
but
I'm not
that's
attracted
not,
to that.
that's, yeah, they're sexy, but they're not like, that's wifey. Like, no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And girls tell me that all the time. Well, I could be attracted to him, but not want him. Well, then why can't it be the same thing for a man?
Exactly.
Because women feel like you guys are physical creatures,
Facts.
so it's like
I'll stare all day. Don't get me wrong. I'll sit there and talk about her all day, but I will not take her home.
it's kind of like
Exactly.
how women feel like a man is like, I don't want you to be this, and then they cheat on the exact girl that they say they don't want her to be like.
Ooh, hold on. We got a response. We got Eddie Tobias says someone who only talks about their goals but never listens.
Boy.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Well done, sir. Well done.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Talks about their self, or like
That's
but
that's
doesn't- or
essentially
talks
what it's going to
about-
be.
Basically, talks about themselves but doesn't listen to what you have to say.
Right. Right. That's
That would just irk my nerves.
tough.
Oh gosh, that would irk
That's
my
it.
nerves
He done pissed
Yeah,
us all off.
I think I relate to that. Like, I
Heck
think
yeah.
I agree with you on that one, man.
for sure. Because I'm a talker, but I'm a listener.
You
Are
gotta
you?
be.
I'm definitely both. So that would annoy me if somebody's just all about themselves. Selfish. Oh gosh. Selfishness.
or the ones. Oh man, see that, like, if I could combine what he said and mine, that would be like the ultimate. Like, get out of here. Like, just don't even talk, bro. If you were complaining about something and then I try to suggest a solution and you will not take it, oh my god.
Now, man, we getting some good stuff from the audience.
Oh, yeah,
man.
okay.
I got to keep up with the audience. It's going to be tough for me. Amber is saying the inability to communicate or express themselves is a major no for me, and that kind of harkens back to last episode.
Yeah.
Right. It was like, yeah, man, you gotta, men and women, men and women both have to be able to communicate. And tell us-
Communication is number one. Communication is the number one thing that has broken up me in every single relationship. And it's different types of communication. It's like communication is so key. I mean, I understand it. to
In
the core.
anything,
Yeah, in anything.
any kind of relationship.
Business.
Yeah.
Oh, business. I've
big time
broken up
business.
some business relationships off of communication because it was,
Got to.
oh my gosh. Yeah. And you have to work on it. You have to work on your communication in order for somebody else to kind of meet you halfway.
yeah, man.
Certainly. Are there any more?
There's honestly, there's a couple folks that are just saying communication. So
That's a big thing.
it's a big one, man. Learning how to.
But
I
how do we?
communication even more.
Yeah,
even
but
more
how?
is a
Okay, so,
problem.
but kind of getting back into the scenario that the question was kind of brought up in is more of, I thought anyway, of, you know, like being with that person maybe the first time or whatever, like going out somewhere. Is that not the scenario? Like, how do you figure out if the communication is that great in the first time?
Things take time.
Right? Isn't that the scenario, right? That
That's
like
kind of-
we just met this person, you have some bare minimums, you trying to figure this out. So I'm
that's
thinking in my
so
scenario,
hard.
it's my first time, I'm maybe taking this person out somewhere.
Okay.
That's how I'm thinking about it.
So, like, what would be the cutoff of the first?
Yeah, and so I'm thinking about it like in that scenario.
Dress. I think the way somebody dresses.
Yeah,
Or even deeper into that, the way they, like, carry themselves.
I was gonna
The
say
way they present themselves.
depending on what you're doing though, right?
Right.
So you don't expect them to go to the pool in like a suit.
No, I think dressing appropriately
me.
for the occasion, whatever
Right.
the occasion is,
Okay, cool.
and how they carry themselves, how they communicate with others. Like you
Right.
said, how they talk to the waitress, how they deal
Exactly.
with people, how they, just paying attention to their mannerisms. And I'm really like, my friend, she was, I guess, dating a guy. I don't know if I can call it dating, but instantly I saw the boy and I was like, oh, that's a fuckboy. Instantly, just from the way he
How
dressed.
can you tell that from the way they dress?
Oh my gosh, just
That's
the way he
terrible.
dressed and the way he carried himself.
Because the
and
cuffs were just inside of his shoe, and instead of hanging out the
That's
house, like
terrible.
he was
it?
no,
What
but
was
he
it?
ended up being a fuckboy. He ended up putting his hands on her and doing a bunch of stuff to her. And I was like, girl, I could tell he's a fuckboy just by looking at him.
Yeah,
Like
that's crazy.
you didn't see the like I can tell a guy just by looking at their Facebook, by their pictures that they take.
all right.
If they're flipping you off in the camera and it's a bunch of pictures of that, fuckboy. You
That's-
know, like a bunch of middle finger pictures on Facebook.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to deal with that. A picture where it's a bunch of grills. I don't want to deal with that. A tattoo that says "Only God can trust me" across his chest. No,
What?
like
Just
these
because
are.
he
Wait, what?
Wait, what? Just because he has a tattoo
Yes.
similar to somebody else, there's a problem with it. He's
If he
religious
has
and
a
everything. And
if he has a tattoo, ladies, listen to me closely. Listen to me closely.
don't
If
listen
he
to
got
this.
a tattoo that says "Only
I don't
God
even
can
got this
trust me"
tattoo.
across his chest, then that means he's done some stuff that he feels like only God or
That's
only
not what
God
that
can
means.
judge
What
me.
the hell
Only
are
God
you-
can judge me.
That's
Only
not
God
what
can
that
judge
means.
me.
Talking about.
Only God
That's
can
not what that
judge
means.
me. He's done some things that he needs to be judged for.
That's not what I mean. Everybody
done
does
some
something to
things
be
he-
judged.
Yeah,
for.
every
That's
day you wake
true.
up, you do something you need
But
to be
I feel
judged
like
for.
the guys who are every guy that I've known that is a complete, like 100% hands down fuckboy has a tattoo that says "Only God can judge me," and I'm like,
Damn,
You are
dog.
killing me. She is killing
I
me.
don't
Look at
like-
the box. The box that she just
Just threw
created.
all
you have
them
a tattoo that
dudes
says "Only
in.
God can judge me"?
No, I do not.
Do you have a tattoo that says "Only God can judge me"?
No, but
Thank you.
If I
and
did
I
have
feel
a
like
tattoo-
the men that are sitting right here are actually good men who are raised by daddies and all kind of stuff. The men who have tattoos, they "Only God can judge me." Usually
That-
don't have
is
no
it- is it-
daddies in their lives, and they cheat on their women. They got
wanna say-
multiple baby
is it
mamas
that
and
that
children.
particular tattoo?
That particular
Can
one.
somebody
out.
with
Yes.
this tattoo please hit me up? And I need you to
Please.
have all your kids. I need you to have your daddy, your mama. I need you to have.
I want you to
I need
have-
you to
yes,
screw this girl
please.
wrong.
A guy with "Only God can judge me" tattoo, please
I
hit
need
us
this
up.
to-
That
bruh.
doesn't have any baby mamas.
What are you talking about? Why can't he have baby mamas?
Oh, hold on. Ray,
okay,
hold
okay.
on.
He can't have
'Cause
baby
y'all-
mamas and then,
Multiple baby mamas. That's
as long as he's
that's the
taking
end.
care of the kid.
Yeah, everybody has slip ups. Hey.
If you got two baby mamas,
Ray says you can't really take no one on social media serious. It's an avatar. None of it's real. Everybody is more than they really are.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't.
some people
I
are
know
less.
no, but the thing is,
I get what he's saying.
I get what he's saying. I just
true.
wouldn't put the all and the everybody and the encompassing statement over everybody like that.
You know, I actually know people on Facebook that are like quote unquote nobodies on Facebook, but are celebrities in real life.
That's what I'm talking about.
I know somebody. I actually,
that's-
my friend is like that.
that's
He's
what
like
I mean.
very successful, hangs out with celebrities, is one himself. I mean, he's in a like, oh my gosh, but his Facebook looks like there's nothing going on.
No, I know people, and that's where I was going with it. I wouldn't say everybody, but the people, the ones.
There's
look,
a lot that are fakers.
Yeah, but
There's a
how
whole
many
lot
people are
of
actually
perpetrators.
insecure about themselves? That's what we're talking. That's the
Oh,
real
man.
conversation we're talking about. And we're not talking about what they're doing on Facebook. We're talking about how they feel about themselves. That's a whole different conversation. So,
Yeah, we didn't got completely
No.
off topic.
but anyway, but those are the things that basically we said would be our 0 points. The things that we said, right? We would
Yeah.
cut it off. So those are built from what? Maybe your dad or lack thereof? Do you feel like that's your 0 points are built off of your dad?
My dad doesn't have that tattoo, but
You don't know that he may have it across his
my
back.
dad doesn't have that tattoo on him. But some of my 0 points, I guess, would be from my dad. I mean, just the whole cheaters thing is from my dad. I'm very like every relationship I go into, I like push the don't cheat aspect.
Right.
Very heavy.
Just crazy that we have to talk about that.
Super, super heavy. You would think that would just be a no-brainer to not cheat on somebody, but I push it really heavy. Like, I mean, I ask guys, like, do you have a history of cheating?
Oh yeah, yes I do. I'm the cheater right here.
And-
Lock
and
me
no-
up, please. What do you think they're gonna tell you?
Yeah, what guy
They
gonna
do
tell
tell
you?
me.
Has a guy
What?
told you yes?
yeah.
And you proceeded with him.
No.
Okay.
So that you stopped him from telling any other girl the truth.
No.
Hold on.
Okay, that was a good one.
Hey.
No, what happens is some of them are honest too, where they'll be like, you know, I did cheat one time, or I did
Oh,
do
of
this.
course, of
You
course.
know, like they're honest. Like I
Yeah.
did do this one time, I was messed up for it. You know, I've had friends.
No,
like,
for sure. I mean,
talked
me
about
too. I'm not gonna say I'm just an angel.
Where they'll tell me like, yeah, I did it one time. You know, this was a situation, this was a scenario. I was stupid. And if they, and I feel like if they own up to their stuff and it's like so much far in the past that they're like, you know what, I was dumb, I was young. This was a situation, but this is not a good excuse.
Hold on now.
You know, I actually sympathize and understand, and I'm a very understanding person when it comes to that.
I got a note from our previous guest, Treasure Hilton.
Nice.
Is saying when you first meet someone, they tend to be honest. I think that is bull.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, that I am. Now look, I won't say I'm being dishonest, but what I will say is I'm putting on the best version of me possible.
Facts.
Yeah,
But you
man,
know
I
what?
always open the door for you, girl.
Right.
Yeah, I always consider your
That's what I'm
thoughts first.
saying.
You know what? Let me say it from this standpoint. I have noticed when you first meet them, because they're not sure if they want to date you.
Right.
So they'll tell you the things, they'll slip up with stuff. A lot of men are just, they're not good at hiding things. They will slip up. So when you first meet them, they're like, I don't know if I date her. So you ask them a bunch of questions and they'll tell you. But then they start liking you and then they switch up. And then they're like, once they like you is when they act the best. Once they know, like, I want to be with this girl, then they're putting on the facade in the front. But the first, just like getting, like, you know, the first couple days, they're like, I don't know if I like her very much. Yeah, I'll tell her everything. And they will be honest. Because I've caught a few guys. There was a guy who liked me, and he was telling me about how he would get girls on social media platforms and how, you know, just horrible things he would do to them. And then he started liking me, and I was like, no, I already know that you're a fuckboy. Like, you already like let me know. I wouldn't do that to you.
Do you mean when you were talking to them? I think they probably existed in the friend zone at first.
Friend zone, yes.
See, that's different. Yeah, I mean,
yes. But you should start a relationship in the friend zone. You should be friends with somebody, and I think that's where Treasure's coming from. They'll tell you stuff if they're in the friend zone.
Nah, but not really the friend zone. It's just you want to be friends as well.
Right.
Like the people that I build with, they know I like them, so it's not like we in the friend zone. Like you don't need, because my friends that are my girls, like that are girls. I'm sorry, that are just my friends, like they're friend. That I don't know. They're friend zoned. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Like
but
me.
Then, yeah, I mean, that's what it is. You have your friends, but then then you have people that from day one, even if nothing between me and them happened, they knew that I was feeling them. So I would never friend zone them because I need that possibility to stay open. You know what I'm saying? That's different.
Eddie Tobias is saying, wouldn't life be better if we just put down our fronts or our guards? Hold on, it scrolled down.
Facts.
And that would make life for us more and more or less insecure. Like he's saying that it will remove our insecurities.
It's true.
Which is funny. That's what this show is about.
I think we talked about this.
We were just talking about it.
No, I think one time we talked about this before in my garage. Yeah. So okay. So
now keep in mind we're supposed to be talking about daddy issues.
Yes.
But
I mean, we're going.
We're going with it. I love it.
I think we'll be able to get back to it though.
Yeah.
We'll be able to tie off on it. But what I was just gonna say is that like I have gay friends, and they tell me
Girls?
like both guys and girls. But one thing that I found to be similar between them is that they don't waste no time telling each other on the first date that they don't like each other. Like if I ain't feeling it, they just have that. You know what I'm saying?
This one lady, or I assume lady, I just read the name, Noonie. It may be not a lady. My bad if I did it. Being friends with benefits turns into marriage.
Oh, is that what happened?
I don't know if that. You saying that's what happened with me?
You are married.
You looked at it to you like you said.
You're like,
you know.
Here's the thing. What I will say is, my marriage with my wife is. I mean, yeah, we're really, really good friends, right? And there's I would consider her my best friend. So maybe,
you should.
But I mean, did it start out that way?
They started from friends with benefits?
No, I just started out we actually met over the internet. So my relationship may be vastly different from a lot of people. Like we met over the internet and Yeah.
Y'all
like,
met on Farmers Only?
What?
she tried it. No, but to show my age, I met on AOL.
Oh my god.
So yeah, and I lived in Florida.
Like, damn, you really wanted to talk to her, man. 'Cause
Dial
it took
up.
forever to
Hey.
get that connection. For real. You had to turn off your phone and everything.
Mama, don't pick up the phone. The chat is getting good. But yeah, no, she lived in Texas. I lived in Florida, and ended up moving over here for her. Yeah, that was a long time ago.
And so you guys started liking each other. It wasn't a friends with benefits. It was
Nah, it wasn't a friend. Nah,
Yeah,
it was
she
like
knew from the beginning. Like,
I moved
yeah,
over.
like
I moved over there.
I like you. That's
yeah,
what it is.
but we talked for a very long time before I moved over here.
Right.
So I did get to know
What's
her.
a very long time? Can you give us a
2 years.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so like, she was my friend. So
Right.
yeah, she was my friend. I mean,
Right.
like, dead up, like, oh hey, how was your day? What happened?
Right.
Blah 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 blah.
Right.
We were like close friends, and then I was like, yo, this $3,000 phone bill really isn't that cool. So I'm gonna move over there,
Right.
and that was it. 2 kids later, mortgage, all that good stuff. Picket fence that's about to be blown down by the hurricane, all that good stuff.
Damn.
You know.
I'm gonna
All
be
the
pissed.
drinks.
Well,
I'm
I
gonna be
do
pissed
know.
next week.
I mean, anything is really possible when he talks about like friends with benefits becoming. I ran into a couple who just got married at. I was at the West End, and the girl came up and told me, she was like, yeah, actually he was a rebound.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
Straight up, she was like, yeah, he was a rebound. He was only supposed to be a one night stand, and turn into her husband.
But the
those
coolest
are
part,
little-
the coolest part about that is if he knows about it and he's cool with
He
it.
did. He was right there, and
That's,
he was like,
to
yeah.
me,
Yeah,
y'all
that's-
found each other. That's the socket in the. I don't care what the story is, bro. But if y'all know enough about each other and can accept it, and man,
He
look,
did. He was standing right there,
That's
and he
all
was
it
like
is to me.
agreeing. He was like, yep.
That's all it is to me, man.
He was like, I was supposed
It's
to be
an
one night
agreement.
stand. He was like, I was supposed to be one night stand, but I wasn't having that.
He wasn't having
like,
that. He
there you go.
knew that. Yeah, he went after his.
Like, hey,
You know what I'm saying? I'm taking mine.
there is more to that woman than that one night stand.
You feel me?
That's perfect.
You know?
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, so kind of trying to tie it back. Those are, I guess, my basis on things kind of came from my dad. Like, it's like seeing it. I don't think I ever like, oh, that's how you treat a woman, But it was just like there was just things that I just knew were wrong.
It
and
was just
whether
like obvious for you. It's like you saw it,
Yeah, I knew
and then
it
it
was
was
wrong or
like,
not. I knew it
that's
was
how it should be.
Yeah, you know what is wrong or not, and whether you continue to do it, and I mean that's whatever. But I'm just saying, like, I had an intuition, I had thoughts about it, I knew I was either doing wrong or doing right by somebody, and I think that's because I have a good moral compass.
Right.
But that moral compass was established by your father.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I think that's what gave it to me, because I mean, even to this day, my dad will randomly give my mom whatever, like just out of nowhere, bringing it to the house just to make her smile, or I mean, he would dead ass whoop our ass if my mom was upset about something we did, like at school or at work. You make my wife upset, bro, I'm coming for your ass.
There
Now I
it
gotta
is.
deal with her
Yeah, and I'm
upset.
trying
Now
to
I
see,
gotta.
like, nah.
She's over here in my bed
Yeah,
crying
bro.
and dealing with
Don't
y'all.
you dare make my wife cry.
That's true.
I know you probably relate to that.
Yeah. Hey, I got kids. My kids are old. Hey. Oh Lord. They come through, they mess up at school. I gotta deal with I gotta clean up house. Hey, look, you done pissed her off. You ruining my life.
You feel me?
It's gonna come down. So hey, it all rolls downhill. So yeah, no, but on the same front, how you're saying, your dad would bring you gifts and things like that. So, I have a 9-year-old son, a 14-year-old daughter. I'm sorry, 10-year-old. He just turned 10. 10-year-old son, 14-year-old daughter. And I let my kids see not only the good things that I do, but when I screw up as a husband, I will admit it, right? So, case in point, recently, I was supposed to put together this elaborate plan for my son's birthday, did most of it, not nearly enough, right? And so, like, literally the day of the party, my wife had to drop what she was doing and help me put together this party. And thus, rightfully so, she got pissed at me. She's like, you were supposed to handle this. I didn't handle it. And so my daughter was like, man, mom is getting all in your ass. And I was like, well, she didn't say that, but
Right.
And I was like, yeah, she is. And she's like, how does that make you feel? And I was like, baby, I kind of deserve it. Daddy goofed up, So I let my kids see that that humbleness and the way that my wife and I interact, and like, hey, I apologize to my wife. I don't sit up there and say, well, hey, you should have helped me, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
No, I take ownership of my mistakes. I show my kids that, hey, your spouse is your teammate. You let them down, they're naturally going to be upset. There is nothing wrong with that. Do your best to correct it. Do your best next time not to have that mistake. So, and I think those are
teammate.
Yeah, and pick a good teammate. That's true, because if they don't do that, they're not a good teammate.
I'm sitting here like, I'm sitting here like.
That's what it is.
I feel like I've complained. I've guys have done stupid stuff that I've complained at, and all they do is get defensive. And like, you guys are making me even more realize how much no, and I know this is going a little off topic too, but
this show's off the rails.
It's we just do whatever we want. So I do feel like when you talk about that, when I look like, oh my gosh, I feel like guys always come at me like, you don't know how to keep a man. And why can't it be they don't know how to keep me? Because I'm always the one breaking up with them. They're always the one messing up. They're always the one blowing up my phone after the relationships.
It's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of both.
Because I feel like men are always like, oh, well, you don't know how to keep a man. Why is it always about keeping a man? Why can't a man know how to keep a woman?
Well, the only reason why I am kind of on your side on this is because I don't think that all men fit the same glove. Like, there's going to be some people that you're going to agree with, some people that you're not. And I think that's the beauty of dating and getting to knowing people, is that right then and there, figuring that out. But you got to know what your fit is, and that's what we were talking about before. Is like, maybe you haven't seen or felt what it is that you actually will like. Maybe it's like based on other things that you've seen or other people. And, because like I told you before, or like we talked about and that you brought up, was that right when I said it, I was like, well, I know what it's like to feel loved. And then you were like, that's probably what it is, Cam. She don't know what it's like to feel loved. And I didn't think about that. And it's like, now that I do, it's like, bruh, if you can't identify that, when somebody's coming at you with some bullshit, you can't discern it. But that's the reason why I take my daughter out on dates. Yep. And so that when someone tells her she's pretty, she's not like, oh my God, you just call me, I'm pretty. Come here.
It's not just pretty. It's
I mean, that's,
and I understand exactly what you're saying, because, and I think you dating have to understand that a lot of women go through what I deal with, whether they don't have a father at all or their father is not how they should be. They're not doing those things. So that's why a lot of us women have these issues, because, the men and the man in our life that's supposed to be that. Because my mom always like, well, you have your grandfather. Your grandfather's been great. My grandfather's an amazing man. I mean, he takes care of everything and all the women in our family,
right.
So I do have a great example of what a man should be. But it's like, you want your dad to be that,
and also your grandfather isn't showing you how to love your mom.
Right.
That's a different. That's a parental love.
Yeah, it's a different thing.
Right. I can see that. I can see that completely.
And so that was when I was when I was making that point to you, I was saying that you never got to see that example of how a man and a woman should properly interact. Like, that's how like how Cam explained about his parents. That's exactly how my parents were. Like, my dad would surprise my mom all the time, or he would come home and beat our behinds if we did something stupid to piss her off. I'm gonna call your dad. Oh shit.
Shit. Hell no.
Yeah. No, I definitely have not ran into that type of guy. I think just like you said, Cam, with we'll call you pretty. It's like, yeah, guys will be like, oh, you're attractive, but I think what it is the whole, like, if a guy likes me, like, is really into me, and is like, okay, and is committed.
Right.
That's when I'm like attached to him like this. Like, oh, he's committed to me. He loves me.
And that's why when we talked about the last show, that's why when y'all get together, it's like, that's what it is. From here on out, we're together every single day for, and it gets to that point because y'all have already decided that's what we're going to do, But yeah, so I mean, that makes sense now that you bring it up.
Right.
I mean,
and I think, like, when you said I don't really know exactly what love looks like, I've seen a disloyalty with my dad and to my mom. So when I see a man loyal to me, I'm like, oh, that's love.
When
it's like, that's not just it.
Hold on. When you see a man do what you perceive is loyalty to you.
Right.
What we're arguing against is that we don't feel that you have a good understanding of what actual loyalty is, like real, true love.
I'm talking about regardless or not, if you were together with that person, would that person cut for you as a person, as an individual, as a being? There's some people on this earth that I will do anything for. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't matter. It's because of what we've built. And I'm not talking about just girls. I'm talking about my homies, and people know that I have like day ones, but then I have people I'll kill for. And that's because we've built something that's way different than just, oh, we've grown up together in the same school. Like, nah, I got somebody that we talk to daily to figure out life.
Right.
And so, and if I need to call somebody, I can call this dude and he gonna help me out. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he know I really need it. It's not gonna be no, or he's gonna tell me no, and he, you know, like, because I need that too. Whatever I need.
Sometimes you need a no. You know, sometimes you need a no.
So how about this? How do we overcome daddy issues? How do we overcome the things that we've experienced in our life and that have molded us and shaped us to who we are and our thought process?
Stay optimistic.
Yeah, you know, there was a comment earlier. There was a comment earlier in chat that said that, man, you're starting to sound like you're really close to sounding like a man hater. Arguistic, or I don't know how to say his name.
Yeah, he was on the show.
Oh, okay, yeah, that dude who, yeah. So he was saying, you know,
I've been called a man hater. I keep being called a man hater.
Low key, she's not. She's not a man hater for everybody out there, but
you sound like one.
Because that's a topic of conversation.
I complain about a lot of things that happen to me, and that's not that I hate men. And I think that men look at it as like, oh, you hate men. No, I'm pointing out the flaws. That's not hating men. Pointing out the things that they've done wrong to me. That's not hating men. Pointing out the things they've done wrong to other women and people. Like, that's not hating men. That's pointing out the stuff that happens. And if you as a man, you don't do that, that's great, but just recognize the men around you. And that's just like how I've had to recognize the women around me. And this weekend, I'll go ahead and tell this. This weekend, I ran into some women, and we were talking about relationships, and I asked them what happened in their relationships. And the girl admitted it was me. And I was like, well, what happened? She said, I've cheated on every boyfriend I've been with. And my mind was blown. And I was like,
Janae thinks this doesn't happen.
A woman cheated?
What?
Y'all, my mind was blown. And I had to come and realize, and I was like, oh my gosh, when I get on the show, I'm going to have to tell everybody, because I'm going to be open and honest. You know, I'm gonna say, I say what's real, and I say what happens in my life. So what's real is this woman told me that she's cheated on every man in a relationship. And I told her, I was like, I've been loyal in all of my relationships. I'm a very faithful person.
What she said? That's good for you, baby.
Yeah, she was like, oh, that's really good. And so I'm like,
she pat you on the head.
She's like, oh, that's really great. She's like, I wish I could be that way. And I'm like, well, why are you like that? And before she could even finish,
hold on. Oh, I just got triggered. So Treasure said, I know a few women. See, you see how I suck my teeth on it.
Yeah, had to.
I know a few women cheaters. They're out there, but they're rare. But it's rare. No.
I got too many homegirls that tell me all their stories. I done told you this. I got too many homegirls tell me all their stories.
About cheating?
About any and everything, because I'm their homie that don't gonna judge. That's not gonna judge them. I'm trying to, bro. Look,
I can't.
I went through college.
This.
I was slipping in the girl dorms. Like, bro, I know this.
I've been around a lot of women. They may not be like my best friends, but I've been around a lot of
women.
What? And I just did not know that women just cheat.
You know what? You know what,
like,
Janae?
How much you guys say?
You might be that innocent little girl who I don't want to hurt. So I can't tell you that I'm a cheater. I can't tell you that I'm a low down, cheating, nasty girl.
But in the room of all women, it came out. There was not one man in that room unless he was gay.
He was gay.
And it came out. And that's what I be talking about with y'all women, man.
And then the married woman was like, oh, I used to be like you before I got married.
That's what I'm saying.
Eddie said every girl he's dated cheated on him.
What? I'm like, I I'm blown away.
This is crazy.
I can't even like believe that you guys are sitting here laughing, and I'm like over here
man.
in shock.
You never seen that meme?
And you know what? And I think this comes back to being a man hater. I think it's because I am a genuine person. I'm very forgiving and I'm very loving. That when I get hurt and I get done wrong, it affects me a lot. And so the women that said that they cheated, I asked them why, and I was like, well, why? And before they can answer, I said, is it because something just came in my spirit. I was like, is it because you don't trust men to be loyal to you, so you want to cheat before they do? And she said, yes. She said, out of her mouth, she was like, if the temptation arises, I feel like he would take the temptation. So if the temptation arises for me, I feel like I should take it.
That's terrible.
And I could not.
And
it is terrible.
let's still be in a relationship. What? Just get out the relationship and take all the temptation you want.
Exactly. If you looking for free, I mean, never mind, man.
I'm pretty blown away from what I.
This is why I stay single, because I know I got temptation. I'm not gonna be able to hone in myself to be on one. Until that happens, I might as well just stay single. Why am I gonna play with some chick head when? Like,
if you have no trust, if you have no trust in them, you know, if you're like, oh, men are just gonna cheat on me anyways. Oh, they're just gonna.
So why get with him?
Why even be with him?
Why be with him? That's my point.
Yeah.
Get what you. If he was like that, he just wanted you for just a couple of nights. Then get what you want for your couple of nights and bounce.
That's don't.
I think some people don't like to be. They don't like to be alone.
Alone. People don't like to be alone.
They like the idea of a relationship. They like the bond and that kind of thing.
Oh, what a bond that we have while we cheat on each other.
I honestly wish you had to ask them girls. So, how's your dad in your life? Because I guarantee he wasn't there at all. I guarantee you, like, Daddy,
I guarantee.
See, that's crazy to me. That's the part that blows my mind. Is how, I mean, I don't know. You know, I don't know because my dad's always been there. But how much that affects people, you know.
And
like,
you know what?
It does. It affects your outlook.
We've been a little unfair, you know, saying that an absentee father.
That's what I'm saying.
On a girl, how does that affect a guy?
Oh, I'm sure.
You know, I think it
Sure, it's
it
different.
affects men all the time. You see all these men without dads.
Yeah, but
and they end up being guys who.
See, but I wouldn't say that.
I feel like okay.
I just wouldn't say all of them.
Okay.
You know
I can't say all of them.
There's always gonna be exceptions
There's
to
always
it.
exceptions to every single rule.
It's just like every girl that doesn't have a father, that doesn't necessarily mean.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I just
Right.
want to put that out there before you know.
Because we might get crucified on that.
Right. Like,
Oh, that happens.
I got that. You said all.
We're talking about the majority.
Just relax. In general, you know, this is very
'Cause we know
broad.
y'all.
I mean, there's
Yeah,
a lot
like-
of men who don't have fathers in their lives, and they either, I think they do either like see their mom be a single parent and struggle, and they're like, I don't want to put a woman through that, and I
Right.
think their mother raised them properly, and then they have the other side that they're like, oh, men are just Rolling Stones, and I'm just gonna be a Rolling Stone. You know, Papa was a Rolling Stone, so I'm gonna be a Rolling Stone. You know, that's how men are.
No, that's true. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of them. There's a lot of different variations for sure.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of guys, you know, even guys that I grew up with that, you know, didn't have their father in their lives. And sure enough, you know, it was girlfriend to girlfriend to girlfriend. It was never like anything steady. I don't even know if you could really call them girlfriends. It was just like one night stand to one night stand.
Right.
Because they don't know how to have that relationship, like you said.
But
but the funny thing was there was a more chauvinistic thing of, you know, he conquered it, right? Like he accomplished something. And, you know, kind of looking back on it is like a lot of my friends who were like that, they were more or less looking for that love. And I don't think they knew how to receive that love from a woman or how to
cultivate
that love and get what they really wanted from a woman. So they just kept moving. I don't know.
No, I mean, I could see that.
Well, they didn't know. I think a lot of men that don't have the father figure, that do that, they have an idealistic view of like what society says about relationships. So they're like, oh, women are submissive, men are kings. So they put themselves in that chauvinistic, you know, I'm a king, I'm a man, women are supposed to submit to me, don't question me, don't ask me anything. And they have this whole like thing of themselves of, you know, they don't know that you have to submit to your wife as well for her to submit to you. You have
That
to.
is true.
You have to
That's in
have
the
a
book.
balance. You have to, you know.
It's a game of chess.
Right. You have,
Well, I was talking about the Bible.
And
I
I know,
know.
and I know a lot of men will argue with me when I say that. Like, you have to submit to your wife too. They're like, like appalled. Like, oh my God, I have to submit to a woman? No. Like, they have no clue in their mind because they haven't seen the relationship happen to where you've seen your father. You both have seen your father be like, whatever your mom says, you know?
Yep.
Or
Yep.
your mom, she's the one.
I've
you know?
said that. I've said that. Whatever your mama say.
Right.
Facts.
Right. Happy wife, happy life.
Yes.
Bruh.
Yes.
And they see it as all they know is what they hear, not what they've seen and what they've experienced, like you guys experienced, you know?
Yeah.
So they don't know what it's really like, that you really have to submit.
So let's talk about, okay, so I'm gonna try to split some hairs here. Dad's in both people's lives as far as physically, but emotionally one's not there and emotionally one is, right? So like, well, I guess what I'm saying is, what if your dad is present, he provides for you, got food, you got everything, but you just don't get no love, you don't get no conversation? Is that relationship worse than someone who doesn't have their dad at all?
I think it's pretty.
Do we have anybody
equal.
that wants to
Yeah, if
Yeah,
you guys
about
have
that?
anything
Anybody
to
in the
say
audience?
about that?
Did y'all have a
that's
father that was like, you know,
emotionally distant, or you have a friend who didn't have a father in their life, or
Right, because
you
like-
kind of saw how it worked.
Because I can see that. I can see that scenario, like, especially like, you know, people who've been through trauma in their lives.
Right.
But they still have kids.
Right.
They just may not be able to emotionally connect.
connect? Or like you say, it's a because I think there's different stages to this daddy issue stuff.
No, there's
Right, and it could stem off of, you say, oh, well, you have daddy issues. Well, it could be lack of daddy issues. It could be the fact that the dad was there, they didn't get anything. It could be the dad was there and was too overprotective. Like, there could be so many different
Right.
levels to
Right.
it. It's like he could be too hands on or just not there at all. But all of them could give a negative, I guess, effect.
right.
So speaking of too hands on and too overprotective, why don't you share your story of the fourth grade?
Oh man,
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
because that ties into it, and
Yeah.
we can also dovetail on about fathers. You know, yeah.
Well, so there was a guy in 4th grade who liked me, and I specifically remember this. Maybe I'm cursed. Oh my gosh, I just realized maybe I'm cursed.
Go with your story.
Because it was Valentine's Day, and he brought me a teddy bear and flowers. And I say I'm cursed because I've never had a boyfriend on Valentine's Day ever.
Oh wow.
That's why I say
Jeez.
I'm cursed.
Oh, wow.
Ever. I've never had one.
You missing out on a lot of presents.
Right. I think I had one once in high school. He brought me some stuff. We argued on Valentine's Day. It was horrible.
jeez.
It was a horrible Valentine's Day. Yeah, and my uncle died on that day. It was horrible at the same time. It was terrible. So I feel like I'm kind of cursed on Valentine's Day. So this guy brought me teddy bears and flowers. His mom came to the school, everything. Mind you, we're in 4th grade. He really liked me, and I accepted the gifts. Now, my dad was telling me, no, like, you're too young. He don't need to be a boy. What is he doing? And my dad was just extra like, no, like, heck no. You better give them back. You know, like being like, oh, you better give those gifts back. Like, you better blah, blah, blah. Like, just going off. So in the back of my head, I'm like, oh, I'm too young to be having boyfriends. Like, I don't need to be thinking about if I even like this guy. You know, because I didn't consider if I even liked him or not. Sure. And so, you know, automatically I have my dad in the back of my head saying, no, you're too young. That's stupid. Give it back. Don't, you know, this and that. I ended up keeping the teddy bear, and I still have it to this day.
Aww.
And I feel like I don't know if this little boy turned into a distraught man who got rejected, because he ended up hating me after that. Like, hated me. He wouldn't talk to me. He was rude to me after. He just hated me, and I felt so horrible. And even to this day, I still remember, and I feel terrible. Like, I wish I could just reach out to him and be like, I'm so sorry. It wasn't me. It was my dad that told me to turn you down. I mean, rightfully so, because we were young, and I shouldn't be having boyfriends at the age of 8 or 9, you know?
Right.
But I feel horrible that, like, and my dad was just so like, no, like, no, you don't do that. You don't accept that. That's not what you do. No. And and that really affected me, and I bet it affected him. And it hurt me that he was so mean to me after. Like, it hurt me so much. It hurt me that I hurt him, and then, that was terrible.
See, earlier when we were talking about, we briefly mentioned that we take our daughters on dates. Mm-hmm. There was somebody else in the audience who said that, yeah, I take my daughters on dates as well. And, I think that's one of those emotional connections that you have to have with your daughter is like, it's more, being a dad is more than just, providing or showing up and
right.
giving food. It's like
paying child support.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah. You could be in the house and just be a child support dad, right?
Facts.
You need to like connect with this little girl, this little boy, and show them how, like, I teach my children a lot about emotional intelligence. Like, both of them know that term. And it is about how to deal with their emotions and how to logically approach different problems that they're going to have in their lives. And, we talk about relationships. Me and my daughter, she's 14 now, especially. And I make sure and teach her, give her the tools that she's going to need when she's older. It's like, hey, look, I don't find this acceptable, so you're not for me, But yeah, being a dad, man, it's more than just paying them bills. You got to be there emotionally for them kids.
Have to, man.
So when you tied it into my topic, or my story, what do you have to comment on that? On what
on your story? I think, man, that just, it sounds like you had an overprotective dad, and then like he didn't follow back up and say, hey,
right,
here's the right way to go about that. Like, you just like, no
boys.
There's
no why behind the what.
Yeah, it is just like, you can't do that. He's like, if you tell a kid no, they're gonna be like, he's trying to keep me away from something good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go directly to do just that, right? My kids, I give them a full explanation as to why I said no. Hey, here's how I think it can affect you. Here's why I said this. Here's why I feel
and that
this
was
way.
the balance with my mom, was that my mom would tell him that, because he was that old school, I said no, and I said it, and that's it. That was my dad. Like, if I said no, that's it. My mom would be like, well, tell her why. Yeah. Explain to her so she understands what's going on. My mom was always that very, like, where she brought, my dad was the extreme, and then my mom was like, the other extreme. So they kind of like, that's how it worked. Because my mom was like, tell her why. Don't just tell her no. Yep. Tell her why she's in trouble. Don't just tell her she's in trouble.
Exactly.
Tell her why she's in trouble. My dad would just be like, kind of like the spank them first, ask questions second. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I give my kids plenty of warning. So Eddie is saying that both my siblings grew up without their dads. I had to step up and man up. As a kid, not knowing what to do, but I had to learn a lot.
Right. But that also doesn't show kids the relationship of how to treat.
Still doesn't give them that model.
Right.
The loving dad of another woman, or of a woman.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely,
not another woman.
Yeah. But I guess where I was going with it is that I see where he's saying, as far as like manning up and, taking care of things, providing that part of it. But yeah, and I guess that's what I was talking about, splitting hairs, is that he, like he said, he grew up without, but then he had to man up. So it actually helped him as far as that aspect, even if it wasn't the love aspect, right? It helped him at that point.
Right.
So I have a question for Eddie. Those two siblings, first off, are they boy or girl?
Right.
And then how are their relationships? Like, do they have, it's hard for me to define a successful relationship that doesn't end in marriage, but like,
are they healthy? Yeah,
healthy relationships.
Yeah.
Healthy. That'd be a question that I have for Eddie.
They can end bad and be healthy for you.
Right.
The marriages. Speaking of marriages, I get that put in that a lot. Like, oh, well, you don't know because you're single. Like, aren't you single? Like, aren't you single? You're talking about this and that. Aren't you single? Yeah, I'm single because I choose not to put up with this, and that. And I posted a status talking about good women. There's I personally feel like sometimes in order to be a good woman, you have to put up with a lot of BS that men wouldn't put up with themselves. And that's where I have an issue. It's like a woman puts up with cheating, she takes him back, she's forgiving. Oh, because I saw.
Nah, that's stupid. No.
Thank you.
That's stupid.
And a guy
that is
was
not
on my page like, oh well, cheating isn't that big of a deal to everyone, and I was like, are you kidding me?
No, that's true
Well,
to everyone. But
yeah.
it's about what you and your partner decided on. If y'all decide to have an open relationship, y'all cool with it, be cool with it. If you decide y'all want to cheat on each other, be cool with it. But I'm telling you that's not what
because
I want.
Because cheating is communication.
Yeah, communicate.
Just like that, we're talking about that girl who says she cheats in every relationship. Tell the guy you want an open relationship, and then it's not cheating.
Be right, and
he
it's
might
not
be
cheating.
down for it.
You might be down for it, and now y'all don't have problems.
And there's no cheating.
That's what I'm saying. Like people have all their own things. Just man, look, it's just we fit or we don't. I mean, we fit or we don't. Can we just leave it out? I put up a status the other day, or not the other day, probably a month ago. It just said, man, I'm not good with the small talk. Can we just talk about something real? Like, can we just go ahead and just skip to the real shit? Because I'm not good at the small talk, bro. That's just not what I do. You know, like, let's talk about something that is going to either make or break what we're trying to do here. But,
and what's something real to you?
Just about, like, I would want to talk about life or talk about headspace. So, right, like, if I ain't gonna lie, if I came across a girl that had the ideas of a man like you, it would let me know right then and there.
What do you mean,
like I'd be like,
nope, I'm out.
I can't do it.
Ideas
She
of what?
she gonna wear me out. Well, just like if she's already thinking that most men are cheaters, or like it's just gonna be those certain things that you look at, like, and you just be like, oh man, dog, I don't even like. Do I wanna fight
that battle?
Do I want to fight that, or can I go over here where somebody's gonna appreciate that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be there like I'm gonna prove her wrong. You know what I'm saying?
And then man, that is freaking perfect. If I were to go through your Instagram and like if I met you and I was like, oh, all right, oh, she fine, blah 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 blah.
Yep.
Let me check her out. And I start doing a little research. Everybody does it. Don't act like I'm a creep.
Bro,
Oh,
that's
no,
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Put it out there.
Let me.
That's young and impressionable, bro.
Exactly. Let me. Don't act like I'm a creep. I know everybody do that. So I had to put myself on the camera. But and if I were to hear like all the posts that you make a bunch of posts. That's like this man, blah 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 blah. Men do this, men do that, and I'm like. It's the thought in my head is like that's going to be a lot of work to change her perception of everything that I am, because like I've gone through like 10 of your posts and you've already told me everything that I've done wrong, and I haven't even been on a date with you. You know what I mean? That's a hell of a hill to climb, and it's just like, man.
But it doesn't mean that that's you. That just means whatever guys I've seen.
It means that is your outlook. Like if you go through, if you just put on blinders and just go through your posts and listen to you speak, I'm not going to call you a man hater. I'm not going to call you a man lover either.
But how is it my fault if that's what I've seen in my life? That's what I've experienced. Those are the men that I've seen treat my mom, my friends, whatever, poorly. I'm supposed to just like be like, oh, it doesn't exist. There's still good men out there. And close my eyes to it?
No. I won't say that. But it's more of a, I guess what I'm saying is know the battle that you're creating. So for on your side, like you said, if it's just somebody that like doesn't know you, but then they want to get to know you, you got to know that they're probably, if they read your information, they're probably going to try to put on that front that we were talking about and try to be the best man that they can, knowing that you want that. You know what I'm saying?
So hold on, I gotta interrupt because I got a few comments to go through.
Oh, let's do it.
Yeah, they're getting good. All right.
Of course.
So Eddie is saying that his siblings are 17 and 10.
Okay.
His brother is 17. His sister is 10. Brother's doing well in a healthy relationship. His sister, they talk about relationships openly, and he's actually trying to pass the torch on to his younger brother so that he can kind of help bring up bring up their sister in the right way. And he says their mom is also Superwoman, so that definitely helps.
That's the shit. I love when men talk about their mom like that. Dude.
Yeah, man, that's
the
dope. David Manning is saying certain single people are great advisors. It's nice to have an outside voice with either experience or not naive views because it shows another side of the situation that you might be in, whether you yourself are in a relationship or not. Yeah, I think it's good to have like well, there's one thing. I'll say yes and no to that because like sometimes when I have problems in my relationship, you know, I got two friends of mine who I can depend on and who I can go to and like, yo, man, my wife tripping.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one of them's married, one of them's in a long-term relationship. I get the proper advice from those guys.
Right.
Like I wouldn't ask a single dude.
Right.
Because he'd be like,
No.
man, your wife crazy. Slap
Right.
up against the head. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like,
No, I feel that.
I can't do that.
Right.
The other comment, and he said, it's not intimidating, but why try?
That's where it's at.
And that I'm pretty sure he was referring to when we were talking
Yeah.
about your Instagram.
my statuses.
Yeah. So.
No, I mean I can totally see that. I just like to call out what I see. I see it and I call it out. And it's like I think guys want me to sugarcoat stuff, and I'm not going to sugarcoat my experiences, my mom's experiences, my friends' experiences. Like I'm just not.
No, that's not the point of the show. The point of the show is
I'm
talk
not
about all the
sugarcoating
stuff that we
nothing.
go through and let everybody talk about it and be whatever, man. Because we're here for y'all. Like we said, like we always said from the beginning, we are not the professionals here. We're just going through it. And we
I'm
want
not a
you to-
professional.
No,
We
and,
just want y'all to help us go through it.
and please, Lord, don't think at all that I got the answers just because I've been married for a long time. No, it's
I do feel like you have a healthy relationship, though.
And a healthy viewpoint.
Right.
People don't have to walk it, but they have to kind of respect it. You
Because
know what I
there's
mean?
some married men in my inbox. I had to look in the camera.
You looked on the camera now. Yeah. It's
So, there's some, because some people try to be like, oh, well, you're single. Oh, well, that person's married. They've been married forever. Yeah, but there's married men in my inbox. There's married men. So, like, being married doesn't validate anything. And that's why, like, it's so hard because guys are like, why are you so bitter? Why are you hate men so much? Well, from my father to seeing my mom's boyfriends to my boyfriends to my friends' boyfriends to guys to married men in my inbox, like, what do you really expect from me here?
I will try and be that shining example
Please.
of a married man who shows you what a married man is supposed to be.
Thank you.
If that burden is mine, I will take it.
Thank you. I don't know what to give you for that. I don't know. We can create a trophy. I'm not really sure. A trophy husband?
I don't know. Hey, look.
It's
what
gonna
I would-
take a lot for me to marry somebody, bro. God,
You say that.
crazy to me.
You say that, man. It doesn't. It truly doesn't. Like,
Is it just simple? It's just that simple?
no, hell no.
It could all be so simple.
No, it's every relationship takes work. To remain married takes work. To deal with her issues takes work. To deal with my issues take work.
Yeah.
Right? So, even with your daddy issues, you find the right man who is skronk enough to to overcome your daddy issues, and then you work at your daddy issues.
Right.
You're going to be in the best damn relationship of your life. And you're going to be like, yo.
And that's what I was saying about every kind of communication. It doesn't matter what because the thing is, to our point, if someone run down your thing and they were like, I want to attack this, then maybe that's what you need.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
If he signed up for that mission, shit.
That's what but that's what it is. I think everybody has to find their fit. And I think that's, we're going to a little bit extreme, but I just think that's what it is. Is like, you'll have to find someone that wants to walk that path with you.
You know what?
You know what I'm saying?
And David Manning said, being open is key. Maybe that's like one of the things, like on your next date, you can be like, look, dude.
Y'all all suck.
Yeah, but you know what? You can say it kind of jokingly.
Right.
But then you can say, hey, look, I have a terrible view of men. Right? I'm a be upfront with you. I have a terrible view of men. So if you want to just kick it and be friends and cool and chill out, we can be cool and chill out. That'll give you the time to like, figure out if they can communicate, figure out if they want to fight that battle, and be like, all right, you signing up.
You know what's crazy?
Hey, we should do this
guys.
and make this a little update on the show.
Yeah.
I need this.
Yes.
This is going to be great.
This is it. That's it.
We're going to find you a date. We're going to go. I'm going to be your wingman.
Dude, mic her up,
Bruh.
Mic her up.
We can have, man, look.
Yes. But like, girl, don't say that. Say, what is it? Cyrano de Bergerac? What is it?
I have been turning down, like, surprisingly, I know all these guys are like, there's nobody. I have a lot of guys in my inbox. Like, as much horrible things that I'm saying about men, I have a lot of guys in my inbox that I continue to turn down on a daily
I'm tempted to
basis.
go. I'm got your Facebook open. I'm tempted to go through it right now. But like, yeah, call me after the show.
Yeah, look at that. I'll show you a real man. Look at that.
They are. They're like, men aren't like that.
Yeah.
There are guys who are like that out there. Women are just the same, just as like I do have guys saying real stuff in my inbox. It's not.
No. I know, and that's what I was talking about.
They
before.
are saying real stuff.
That's what I was talking about before. Is that you have genuine conversations with people, and no, I get it. It's all for the fun of the show.
And I also have an issue with. I would say, I've always thought if I was a normal person,
what's that mean?
What the hell does that mean?
I know, right? Okay. I have extremely high expectations for myself.
Oh, okay, got you.
If I just wanted a regular life,
yes, it'd be
I
a
would
lot
be
easier.
married right now.
That's how I feel too.
Oh my gosh,
I know.
Cam.
I know, bro.
Cam.
It's for real, man. Because
It's
my
so
my
hard.
drive drives
Right.
people away.
Right.
Okay.
Or they can't live up to.
See, now I'm gonna get. Hold on. No, I have not gotten on Cam ever.
Let's do it.
So now I'm gonna get on Cam.
All right.
Your
Gotta
drive,
stretch
your drive drives people away.
Yes, sir.
That to me sounds like you don't know how to split your time between your drive and your relationship.
The time is cool. The time I'm good at. The expectation, I'm not. I don't. Is it expectation?
I was kind of feeling expectation.
Like,
You have of them,
I'm trying to envision a moment where a girl says, "Cam, you are too driven for being successful.
That's kind of.
I hate you."
Me,
I hate you.
bruh. Let me put. Did y'all hear? They need to be watching this. There's
You
two or
share
three,
this?
bruh.
Okay.
Yeah, there's 2 or 3 girls that yes, I could straight up just call them out through text message, like straight up. You do
show
too
this
much.
on
You
cam.
do too much. You're doing more than so. Like, okay, I know how to make time, but what is enough time for someone once you give them? So my thing is, if I lived in New York, and I don't know why I think of New York, but if I lived in New York, and there might be a chick that I've never seen. I could have lived in New York for 30 years, and I've never seen this girl. She lived there for 30 years too. Now, if I meet her out somewhere, we might go on a date, and she might not expect me to hit her up for a whole nother week until the next week so we can go on another date. We might not talk for a whole week between it, right? But when you're in Austin and you can run into this person at every place in Austin, Texas, they also feel like you need to be taking them to every place in Austin, Texas. And I just don't feel like there's like a...
we might be getting somewhere with Cam.
Yeah, because there's people that I've dated that I don't have to talk to every day, but they don't feel like I'm like leaving them. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, you know what I'm saying?
It sounds like you just don't want to be held responsible or tied down.
No, I don't. That's exactly why I'm not in a relationship.
Okay, well,
But I
what
was
I'm
like,
saying
we're
is-
getting somewhere.
Yeah,
'Cause
no,
Cam
for sure.
we found Cam's issue.
No, I don't have an issue. If I wanted to be in a relationship, I'd
You'd
be in a
make time.
relationship. Correct.
But making
But what
time
I'm-
has how much time? Because you have to talk
Yeah,
to
it
somebody
sounds
every
like
single
you don't
day.
even want to give
So what-
nobody no time.
What's the time? What is time?
Every day, all day.
Well, calm
That's
down.
what they want.
Wait, hold on. You calm down.
You hear
It is
that?
that you
You
guys
hear that,
feel.
right?
Oh, yeah.
That's what they
That's
want.
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
No.
I need to go to this meeting at this day. You're always so busy. So you either have a busy man or a broke man. That's all I feel.
Well, if you communicate it, that's cool.
I always communicate. My schedule's
that's
made
cool.
weeks in advance.
Have you ever lived with a girlfriend?
Yes.
And did they say like you spent too much time working?
Yes.
You don't have good time management.
Oh,
dog.
he read you because you don't.
If you in the same bed as that woman, and she feels that you are not giving her time. Now, granted, there could be some issues where she could be wanting way too much.
Mm-hmm.
But dog, I can tell you. So keep in mind, I got this podcast.
Right.
I got my podcast.
Right.
I have a job.
Right.
I have 2 kids.
Right.
I also have 2 other businesses that I'm trying to get off the ground.
Okay.
And I'm going after a new job that's going to make me travel all over the U.S., I think.
Right.
My wife still feels like I give her time. I actually feel like I don't get enough of her time.
But do y'all schedule things? Y'all just schedule it, right?
Not really, honestly.
That was my way of doing it.
See, the thing, well, we do schedule some things, but that's mostly around like TV, right? Like chilling out and relaxing, right?
Right.
We do, but I make it a point to date her. Like I still take my wife out on dates.
But that's where I got the like, okay, I come home right after my real job and I'm in and I'm out, but then I'll be back for dinner and then we have dinner and the rest of the night we good to go. You know, like I'm at home. Like when I get home, I'm at home.
You know what? It might be that you don't give her enough attention. Because
Well,
attention, well, at any time, because attention can just be sending random text messages throughout the day. You know, oh, you're going from one meeting to another, and you call her while you're in the car. You know, you're not supposed to talk on the phone and drive.
Oh, yeah.
But like stuff like that, that's like, you know, like I had a boyfriend that played professional football, and his schedule was early in the morning,
Right.
all the way till, I knew his schedule, early in the morning, all the way till 6, right? Now, throughout there, I mean, I would call him in the morning and wake him up. I was his morning wake-up call, right? And that was, like, my thing I like to do, and I would go back to sleep. Like, I would call him at 6 in the morning, hey, babe, wake up. And he'd be like, thanks.
I ain't gonna even lie.
And I would...
I ain't even gonna lie. If I was traveling and my wife did that to me, that'd be the best thing ever.
And if you're traveling, yeah.
Yeah, like... My baby.
Man, and I was in college. I didn't have classes until 10. So I would set my alarm to wake him up, and then I would go back to sleep.
Nice. Okay, so what we're talking
Every
about
single morning.
So his schedule.
A whole bunch of hearts just flew through the screen.
So like he would text me throughout, I mean, while he was at meetings, hey, blah, blah, we just talk. While he was at meetings, he would text me.
Mm-hmm.
While he was at lunch, he would Skype me on his little iPad.
Mm-hmm.
And even his football friends would, you know, be making fun of him and all kind of stuff. And he would just talk shit to them, be like, shut the hell up, this is wifey, you know? And then, like, we would have, like, he gave me so much of his attention.
Okay.
Even though he was super busy, like, because he wasn't supposed to Skype. The rest of those football players weren't Skyping their girlfriends. They weren't texting them in meetings. They weren't doing any of that. He would call me every day when he was driving from practice to home, you know? So we would talk the whole way there and he'd be like, I made it, you know, I'm about to go chill. Okay, cool. So he would go, I know he's going to play video games for 30 minutes to an hour. Like that was, we had a schedule. I knew it. Like I
go to work from 9 to 5. Then you know I got a meeting from 6 to 7.
But hold on, hey.
But I don't want to not hear from you that whole time.
But hey, that 9 to 5, you couldn't shoot her a text. You can't
on lunch for sure. I do.
You know how many emails?
Lunch?
You know how many emails I send my wife?
Do you know how many people cannot pick up their phone when they work?
Okay, but can you send an email?
No, not from I work at Apple. Not from Apple.com.
You probably can't. My wife can't do that. But my wife be shooting me emails all day long from Wells Fargo.
That's lit. No, we cannot.
Right.
We cannot. I mean, I can on my breaks, you know, and that's when I call or text, yeah, for sure. But that's never the problem. Because my conversation piece is always the best part about it. You know where I'm at, what I'm doing. It's the fact that I don't make sure that, okay, so let's say I'm trying to think of a scenario we had, because it was, again, 2 years ago. But when I was living with my ex, it was always like, okay, It was never like if we had time planned that I wasn't there. I'd be there. You know what I'm saying? I'd be connected, phone off, whatever, whatever we got to do. But it was never enough. Well, it may have been the in between.
I'm telling you, it was
the in between.
So we got some comments from the audience.
What they saying?
I don't know why I couldn't slip into that. Anyways,
my phone died.
Eddie was Eddie was saying you make the time. So, that's what I'm saying. Then he also said creative or driven people can only date creative or driven people. He said ended that with a question mark. And that's interesting.
Maybe so.
Question.
How was your ex? Was she?
Well, that's what we were talking about before. Is that she was. But remember,
right. Yeah.
That was the girl who that was my life. Me and her were good. But the only reason we stopped being good is because she was no longer that same. She was so far into what I was doing that she stopped doing her professional dancing.
Define that for me. Was she into what you were doing as in go Cam go?
No. As in I got to be there. As in if we were having this right now, she has nothing to do with this, but she'd want to be sitting right there.
So supporting you still.
Supporting me, but there was nothing to add. She wanted to be part of whatever I was doing.
She stopped doing what she was doing and became a part of his projects.
Was trying to. She was never part of those things. She was never a promoter. She was never booking artists. She was never. But those are the things that, right? But the thing about me is that I like going to see her win her awards and go like I want to support her too. So all my support stopped because she wasn't doing nothing but what I was doing. And so it drew me away from her because what I loved about her was her drive, was her ambition, was her goals, was her things that she liked. I got to see her do things that she loved. You know what I'm saying? And with watching her like nobody else was in the room dancing, I love to see that. But I never got to see that anymore out of her because, again, what I was doing, she wanted to make sure that she was part of that. And I kept telling her, I'm not trying to tell you, don't come with me. I want you to go everywhere. If I start traveling the world, I want you to come with me and go everywhere. But, if if I'm going to meet the mayor and I can't bring you because I'm going to meet with him for a business thing and you have nothing, it makes me look like, oh, you're bringing your girlfriend? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just bring your girlfriend into business meetings just because she's your girlfriend.
No, I get
but she don't believe that. That's not the conversation she's having. I'm like, man, that don't look good with me unless you got something to do with what we're trying to do. I'm not trying to cut you out. It's just what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that became like, oh, he doesn't want me to support him, because she's telling her homegirls, I'm trying to support him, I'm trying to go with him, And I'm like, man, that's not what it is. I love the go, raw, go. I love that. You know what I'm saying? But I also want to do the same thing for you. I want to be your cheerleader too. You know what I'm saying? What's wrong with that?
I ain't gonna lie, dude. My wife she's still killing it at Wells Fargo. And it used to be, what's funny is it used to be me winning all the awards. And then, when she got her career going and got into Wells Fargo, for the first time, she would always come to my events and oh, hey, who are you? Oh, I'm Donald's wife, right? And dog, it was so weird, but I knew she was enjoying it, and I loved the fact that she was enjoying it because I was Melissa's husband.
Oh, right.
Mm-hmm.
I literally had a badge. It was like
no name.
It had my name, but it was like guest.
Oh yeah.
I was like, all right, I get it. That's cool. And I'm so and she's just going around talking to the little VPs and all this and shaking hands, and I'm like, you go. And then and sure enough, when her name got called on stage, I acted a damn fool.
You feel me?
There was no dignity.
Just like if I had won it.
Yep.
Trying to tell you.
Hey, I love it.
And it's like we can win. We can have some wins together, and that's all it was. And so I let her. And like I said, to this day, yes, and to this day, she has thanked me because of it. Because now she's back doing what she loves. She if I was looking at her from outside in, she's a better woman, even though she's not with me.
And then back to I think it was Eddie saying certain people have to be with certain people. I think in the field that we're in, I think it is good to have a mesh. I did have a problem with a boyfriend. I tried to date a guy who wasn't as ambitious as me, just wanted a regular job. And he asked me, he was like, how much money do you need me to make? Straight up. Like, he asked me, he was like, what do you expect of me? How much money do you need me to make? And I was like, and to me, I'm like, honestly, I'd rather be with a guy who maybe didn't have a lot of money, but has hella ambition and is super passionate and has a goal to make a lot of money and to be successful. And we can build and we can grow. And like, I'm so totally down with that. But it's like, he was such a basic, cut and dry, you know, his goal was like, he had me, and having me was his goal in life. Having a wife was his goal. Having a woman was his goal. Having a family, that was his goal in life. And that's too basic for me. And
that's too basic for you, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing.
It's not a bad. No, he's a great man, and somebody is going to marry him and have a great life and a great family. And I really, truly feel that way. I truly, 100% feel that way, but he wasn't for me. Because
before my wife got into corporate America, she did like babysitting, and she ran a daycare like out of the house and things like that. And even before that, she was more focused on being a mom. Like, that was her goal. That was her everything. And now seeing that drive come out in the way she attacks her job, that's what that's the shit. Yeah, that's the shit.
See how he feels right now?
Yes.
Right.
That's what I wanted, bro.
And you know,
it's like I'm trying to be up there like, that's my wife.
And that's how I feel. And he was just like, how much money you need? You know, you need me to make 6 figures a year? He was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna go get my CDL. I'm gonna go be a truck driver and make 6 figures a year. And I was like, I mean, I thank you. I appreciate it. I love it. I'm very appreciative. But gosh, where's the passion? Where's the ambition? Like, to like,
that's
do,
a little,
you know?
That's
yeah.
I don't care what it is, though. I don't care if your ambition is to go cut some lawns. I just want you to have something.
Man, I just want.
Have a goal. Have a dream.
Your passion?
Have a hobby.
What
have something.
Love?
Have a hobby. Have a what do you love?
Right.
I like to see you doing it. That's all it is.
I like to see you do what you love, and I want to help
There's
you
a joke
succeed
there.
in that. There's a what?
There was a joke there. He said,
I've missed it.
What's your hobby? I'd like to see you doing it. Well, his hobby was you.
It was me.
You know, now that's a joke.
Yeah, like,
like
and that's
to
the
see
joke.
you
Yeah,
do
that's
it.
true. Okay, I get it. Okay, I got the joke.
Well, moving on.
All right, well, it's about that time.
It is about that time. So thank you so much for tuning in to another
Sorry
show
we were late,
of
y'all.
Young and Impressionable.
That's my fault.
We're always late. You know, just get used to it. I would apologize, but shit, like, I have Marilyn Monroe syndrome, like I told you guys in my other videos. So it's just gonna happen.
We're gonna get it right though. We're gonna get stuff soon.
I mean,
we're gonna get
there's
the
some,
stuff.
you know, we're always progressing. There's always great things happening and in the works. And I love hearing from you guys, and I love the feedback and the comments. I mean, it helps us. Hopefully we help you. And, you know, that's what the show is about, is helping build us as people.
Facts.
So we will definitely see you next week. And we are out.
Hey, I'm gonna try my time management too, y'all. I promise. Appreciate it, man.
All right, peace.